Right, and shall we kick off, Carl?
Yeah.
We've got 17 people. Good turnout for the start.
All right. Well, so I'll start then to our friend in Atlanta. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone else. This is, again, our first presentation actually on drones. It's a bit of a basic overview of, some sort of drones, bit of fun, hopefully, as well, and also what we do with drones down the line. So I'm going to kick straight in and introduce the team. Basically, that's them there, a handsome-looking bunch. And Tim is our sort of guest, who is a drone pilot, but I'll introduce him in a second. And a bit of housekeeping, essentially, first. Just this, obviously, the page you're looking at. Up in the top corner, you get a little circle, square, and triangle thing, little icon, and any Q's and A's. We sometimes do polls. We're not going to do any polls in this one directly, but Q&A. If you've got any questions, pop them straight in there. But also, we're going to have a Q&A at the end, which I'll introduce in a minute. So feel free to pop any questions in there. Hopefully one of the team will pick that up and grab it and answer either straight away, or we'll come to it at the end, and we'll do some live ones at the end as well and help yourself to that. Okay, and our agenda very briefly, it's just a introduction to the team, to the Itoma team, bit of drones in commercial use with Tim from Skyreal, then drones obviously in property specifically, which obviously he'll touch into, and I'll carry on with a little bit. What Itoma use in drones videography, a little bit about how that can benefit your business, and also at the end do that Q&A. Okay, so myself very briefly, I have been a commercial project manager. I used to build buildings, restaurants in particular, restaurants and hotels around the world. I've done that for about 20 years. I saw this product from Eric, who's the MD. I'll introduce in a second. And I basically loved it so much that it was so good that actually I really wanted to be involved. And I'm now working with Eric. So on that note, and I cover basically the UK predominantly and the North America. Eric, over to you very briefly.
Well, thank you very much, Carl, for giving me this opportunity. So again, Eric Tomaszewski, I'm the founder and managing director of Itoma Lux. Basically, I started this business in 2017. And because I used to work all around the Europe, and I speak a couple of languages, basically I'm again looking after Europe and Middle East, so please get in touch if I can help you with anything in either English, Spanish, Polish, Russian or German. These are the languages I can speak and can help you with. Okay, thank you very much. Back to you, Carl.
Actually, no, we've got Jonathan very briefly. Jonathan's in Nigeria. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. My name is Jonathan Carlo. I'm the manager representing Itoma in Africa. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. I have actually had industry-wide experience starting from technology through construction, research, and policy. I am your man in Africa, so have you got any need to reach out to us? Just contact us and then you'll be good for it. Thank you. Back to you, Eric.
No, over to me actually, but it's never mind. We're actually going to go to Daria technically. Daria's our man in Asia.
Thank you so much, Carl. So hi everyone. As said, namaste to all of you. Yes, so basically I look after the Asian and Australian market for Itoma Lux, and I have an expertise in business development. I have been working in these markets and have been generating new clients and helping them develop in this particular regions. So if you have any queries or any work related activity in this particular region, I am a guy. Thank you. Back to you, Carl.
Thank you, Daria. Just India are currently beating England in the cricket, so we're not talking to Daria at the minute. So we'll see what goes on. So a very brief introduction to drones. I mean, you've all come here obviously because you've got some kind of understanding. I just want to, where drones came from. Of course, they're getting better and better and lighter. This is what you're typically seeing now as a sort of a light commercial use. This is, a standard kind of thing. Obviously, go right up into the hardcore military UAVs. These predators you see on the TV and the films, and in the military basis, and then this is kind of the future, really. This is a manned drone. Not quite sure I fancy that myself just yet. Not sure I trust electric just enough to have a go at that, but that's actually an aerobatic drone. But we see drones being used all over the place now, and even in the property sector, which we're all in, actually, I've been seeing the fact that new properties in the UK anyway, I'm not sure about the rest of the world, we're actually specifying Amazon drone landing pads on the roof. So it's certainly becoming a thing, and policy is becoming aware of it. So a big part of the future. And just for a bit of fun, I'm just going to put a little video up of the current Guinness World Record from last year with 3,051 in a bit of a light show. Just a sort of a little video from YouTube just popped in here. The sound sometimes works well, sometimes it's a bit grainy, but I'm going to put it up for a few seconds. Hopefully you can hear it okay. This is 3,051 drones. Unbelievable. I mean, I can barely fly one.
Any drone guys out there, you probably know all about this, but I'm going to go through it anyway. As much as Carl just recently said, that distinctive buzz in the sky is becoming more and more familiar. And for me, that sounds signal that the latest weapon in property marketing has established itself. Drones are the most important new technology to enter the industry since the internet, and it's easy to see why. As you can see, drones can produce dramatic sweeping shots of landscapes, oceans, mountain vistas, and seamlessly present gorgeous exteriors. Drones are unrivaled at capturing a property in its context. Nearby attractions, amenities, parks, lakes can all be brought into play and planted in the minds of potential buyers. The unique perspective they offer is clearly the best way to capture the entirety of a property. Of course, not all properties will benefit from aerial shots, but drone photography certainly is very beneficial for most properties out there, especially large, unique buildings that perhaps don't photograph as well from the ground. And it's great if the property is expansive, with plenty of land, outdoor features, outbuildings. You can fly out and give a tour of the entire estate, showing the scope of the house, the shores of the lake, and the rolling hills that surround it. You can show buyers much more accurate, engaging depiction of what the property actually offers and give them a better idea of what a property feels like before they go and visit. Good, well-created drone footage can tell a story that appeals to the emotional aspects of the property buying process. People buy an emotion, and quality video can really engage them and pull them in. For example, a drone can record a dramatic fly-through that takes a viewer along a twisting wooded driveway all the way up to the front door. The buyer then knows exactly what the approach to the house feels like. And as a closing shot, you can take off from the garden, fly over the surrounding neighbourhood, and give potential buyers a great understanding of the all-important location. Property features are important to many buyers, and drones will bring them to life, whether it's to highlight the sea view, gorgeous garden, luxury swimming pool. Aerial photography captures the beauty and utility of a home far better than ground-based photography or video alone. Drones also allow you to promote inaccessible features of a property, such as a newly installed roof, gutters, or a loft extension that aren't visible from the ground. I reckon in the future, buildings and properties not enhanced with drone technology will stand out negatively because everybody else will be doing it. Drones are incredibly flexible and labour saving, and the ways in which drones are used across the real estate sector is increasing, and I'm sure will increase further. The numbers look pretty good too. According to some calculations, agents who use drones for real estate could see an increase in listings as high as 73%, and deal closing increases as high as 68%. This is pretty sexy stuff, you know. And I've got those figures from a website, and there will be a link provided so you can see the stats. But so you've decided you need a drone pilot, but what makes a good drone pilot, and what should you look out for? Well, if you're presenting to the public, you need compelling footage. And to achieve this for you, a good drone operator needs to be many things with many skills. She is a photographer. She must understand how to make the best use of her camera, the importance of light, exposure, shutter speeds, aperture settings, and focus. The beauty of the golden hour, the right time of the day to shoot. This is all make or break stuff. Well-crafted drone shots not only look incredibly professional, they can generate a sense of awe and interest that you simply cannot get from ground-based photography alone. A drone pilot is a videographer filmmaker. He will understand the importance of cinematography, composition, and storytelling. He is a pilot. He will have perfected the art of flying a drone. Aerial video calls for smooth, continuous movements. Otherwise, things look jerky and amateurish and can have a negative impact on your listing. It's important that the pilot has this technique and experience to execute such cinematic drone maneuvers while remaining calm and level-headed. As a pilot, he will also understand the basic principles of flight, the sciences of lift, drag, and aerodynamics. He is also a meteorologist. He must understand the weather, cloud formations, isobar, and air pressure. Without this understanding, he can't fly safely. He's also an airman. He must know when and how to communicate with air traffic control. He must know when to report accidents and incidents to the correct organizations. He must demonstrate good judgment, well-developed skills to accomplish flight objectives. He possesses a high state of situational awareness needed to identify dangers early. Lots of feathers and lots of caps. There are, of course, cases where such an array of creative skills aren't perhaps necessary. If you just need a land survey or a property inspection and you're presenting to a boardroom, then hiring David Bailey may be a little bit of an overkill. But a whole range of skills, specialist skills, are still necessary along with specialist equipment, as you can see in that image there. And as the industry has matured, we see that drone pilots diverge into specialist areas, such as site inspection and surveying. And if you have a big project such as an industrial complex, then it's worth hunting these guys down because they know what they're doing. They're usually a little bit more expensive. That's because their equipment is more specialized and much more expensive, but they can get things done much more quickly and efficiently. So you found the right guy for the job. What's the next thing that needs to happen? The pilot certainly can't just turn up, start flying and taking photos. There's a fair amount of planning that has to take place before the drones are let loose. Typically, the operator will need to spend at least a morning studying any number of maps and assessing whether the operation can take place safely and legally at the location. He'll need to carefully examine each of the maps, identify hazards, and develop a list of control measures in the way that he's been trained. His number one priority will always be the safety of others. If there are any doubts about safety, the operation will have to be aborted and delayed or delayed until corrective measures are put in place. He may discover the operation area is near an airport's flight restriction zone. He'll therefore need to demonstrate good airmanship and inform air traffic control of his flight plan. He will check with various aviation websites and make sure the skies aren't going to be filled with adrenaline junkie pensioners chucking themselves out of airplanes. It happens. There may be a notice to airmen issued warning of a red arrows display in the area or hot air balloons wandering around the place. Is there a school nearby? Or is there a prison nearby? These are certainly no-fly zones for drones and must be avoided in the flight plan. Quite often there might be a helipad or a small private runway nearby. They all need to be contacted and informed. And so do the local police if the flight is near a town or a village. All sorts of dangers and hazards may be identified, pylons, trees, military activity. They all need to be noted and mitigated to an acceptable level. And if the flight path is within 50 meters of a neighbor's house, he may find he has privacy issues. Privacy is a big concern. Many people are still nervous and skeptical about having drones flying around their neighborhood. Look at this guy. The pilot has a responsibility to contact all residents affected and make sure that they are okay with the drone flight. This means knocking on doors, and that's fairly time consuming. And once the online assessment has been made, the process must be repeated, this time on site, where other risks may come to light, such as the appearance of livestock, ramblers, other unexpected ground incursions, all sorts of hazards he may not have picked up online. The operator will then complete a risk assessment. And then finally, before his flight, yes, there's more, he has to check and double check his equipment, the weather, the number of satellite connections that he has, no satellites, no flights, and the KP index, which is some sort of magical geomagnetic something that we get from space, which can quite easily affect the connection that the drone has to satellites. Finally, he must brief everybody involved about the flight plan and, most importantly, emergency procedures. What happens if the pilot dies of a heart attack, God forbid, while the drone is still in the air? What if the drone develops a mind of its own and decides that it wants to holiday in France? Off the drone goes. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Anticipate the unexpected and all those other cliches that go down to making life safe. There's a lot of planning and knowledge that needs to be in place before any photographs are taken. You can see these are the laws, and if the laws are broken, then insurance is invalid. And if insurance is invalid and someone is hurt, businesses are going to be hurt. The laws are there simply to keep people safe and need to be respected. And you, as someone hiring a drone operator, have a part to play. It is your responsibility to check and always ask for a pilot's qualifications and, most importantly, insurance certificate. You should refuse to agree a contract if the operator cannot provide this information. If someone gets hurt, you're going to be liable. Another point is that the most dangerous pilot is a stressed pilot. When you are controlling a tiny little dot that's 500 meters away in the sky, and you're just relying on technology, believe me, that's stressful. Your heart is racing. So help the guy out and stay calm and patient. And remember, the guy with the controls is the guy in charge. He is the boss, nobody else. Anyway, Once all this is in place and the sun is shining in the right direction, the filming and the fun can begin. And it is a lot of fun. It is great to work with drone pilots and watch how they control these drones and take wonderful photographs as they do. And having said all of the above, you'll find that 99.9% of all the projects run really smoothly and are a lot of fun. So during the day, the operator will typically take about 3 flights. He'll collect about an hour's worth of footage, a bunch of photos, maybe a couple of 360s. He'll then need to spend a few days editing and color grading before sending the final draft off for your approval. He will listen to your feedback and finally present you with the finished masterpiece, all synced to a beautiful soundtrack. Job done. And that gives a basic overview of a typical process. There's so much more drones can offer to help your business. If you look at what these guys are doing, for example, at Itoma, and it's easy to create interactive 3D shots to be viewed in a virtual reality headset. You can program a drone to fly in a predetermined path. It will remember that path, and you can fly the exact same route again and again, month after month. Great for capturing the changing seasons or recording the process of a development. The only limit is your imagination. So how much is all this going to cost? Well, getting high quality drone shots will cost more than a land-based photographer. Shooting aerial footage takes more time than ground footage. So you can expect to pay around about £800 to £1,000 for a typical day's shoot, plus editing time, which can be anything from £400 to perhaps £2,000, depending on your needs. And that's it for me, guys. There's a buzz in the air, and that buzz is telling me it's time to hire a drone pilot. I'm going to pass you back on to Carl. Cheers, guys. I hope that was useful.
Tim, woo, they're all cheering. Thank you very much. That was amazing. And you can see why those costs are what they are when the amount of things they have to go through. And again, obviously that's UK money, so a little bit less in US dollars. But again, depends obviously where you are and what you're doing. But it's such an incredible thing. And Tim's great. So thanks again, Tim, for that. But taking on all that information and then putting it into sort of the technology that kind of complements those things, because obviously the drone footage is one thing that's fantastic. But just to give you a bit of a heads up, I hope you can see that clearly enough. This is the UK market, although it's in US dollars. Basically, this is from 2019. Proptech investments focused on basically drones and mapping, the two highest technologies there, at over $40 million US dollars. That was 2019 for the UK alone. So globally, I mean, that's at least $1 million. And a few more stats to come in a bit later on. So drones and mapping being, some of the most important things coming forward in property. So let's just carry on to Itoma. So a little bit about what we do. So there's ways to enhance your business. We work obviously off-plan, on-plan. So a lot of what's happened already would be on-plan focused. Obviously on-plan being what already exists. And, drone footage can only be taken of something that already exists. So you get fantastic views, etc. But what we focus on a little bit heavier is the off-plan side of things. So things that they're there before they're constructed. And I'll show you a few bits of that in a minute. And just to move on, obviously off-plan stuff, landowners, property developers, consultants and architects predominantly. And obviously on-plan is a little bit more for the real estate agents, brokers and realtors. So I know we've got a few drone pilots, we've got a few property people in here as well. So a bit of a mix. Hopefully it all makes sense and where it all fits in. Okay. Few stats. I think Tim mentioned a couple before, but homes with aerial images sold 68% faster than ones with just ground-based ones. This is from actually US stats. And over 400% more traffic to real estate agencies who use video over photos. So sort of combining those two bits together. And 73% of homeowners say they prefer to use a list of agencies who use video. So again, the importance of video over stills. And drone sales in the worldwide to reach over 12 billion this year, and at 60% of them, over 60% actually, in commercial use. So all those things that Tim mentioned earlier. I know, crazy. So what do? We produce CGI images and renderings and obviously CGI computer generated renderings over drone footage. That's one of a number of things we do, and you'll see a few more bits that we produce, but sort of all CGI based. But over the drone footage in particular, there are two types. There is dynamic, and I was trying to change the static to do something similar, but I couldn't get to it in a minute, so it will be next time. So I apologize in first for Daria, because he told me, and static. But dynamic is basically moving, static is obviously still. And this is a video. This was the original drone footage of a site in London, or just outside London actually, of the RAC Club, is the Royal Automobile Association club. They basically, they were born out of obviously car stuff, but they've got a few clubs and things around the country as well for their members back in the day. This is a site, I'll just show you, this is the sort of a lovely sweeping drone footage. Now again, I apologise if you're seeing it looks a bit stuttery. In reality, it's actually beautifully smooth, but obviously, you know, we're dealing around the world from my little laptop, and it may look a bit jaggery in what you're seeing, but it is obviously beautiful, smooth, and again, further away. So these are two different images we were kind of working from initially. Hopefully you can get the idea of what that looks like. And then this is a dynamic CGI over drone footage of what they were perceiving. So it's dynamic as in it's building itself up out of the ground. Hopefully that makes some sense. There is some horrible music to go with this as well, actually, but I've turned it off because it doesn't go very well through the thing. Tim said lovely music. I'm not sure how much of it's always that lovely. But so that's basically what we create, showing what that project will look like, and that was done obviously from, you know, what they gave us. I'll talk more about that in a second. But obviously, producing a video like that, you can send that straight through to, you know, whoever's involved basically, and they can see exactly what you're talking about. And just to show you what that was, this is Google Maps' Google Earth's image actually from August of last year. I have not managed to get a more up-to-date one at the moment, but that was where it was being built up to in August. So you can see kind of exactly how, you know, we planned it out on that on that imaging just a little while ago. Yeah, and it's basically what it's going to be. And if you want to see more of that, you're more than welcome to. And again, here's another one. This is actually in Kent, in the southeast of England, on the Thames, up the River Thames. You can see in the background Thames estuary. And you'll see, very simply, sweeping drone footage. And we have built, in about, I think it's 21 seconds, this video, so quite a sort of quick video. You get to see exactly what that development's going to look like when it's finished. And in fact, the client for these, and I'll show you a bit more just on the next slide, is a company called Paramount. And this is basically, again, just to compare the original drone footage with what we did. Just keeps it very simple, but obviously, you know, it looks like it's there, basically, doesn't it? I think, if you didn't know when it's finished. And actually Paramount, who we worked with, liked that so much, we did some more work with them and effectively created some stills of the interior of that development. I'll just show you these very briefly. And then in fact, so much so that for their pre-marketing, and it hasn't actually been built yet still, we created this little video. Oh, see, I didn't press play. There we go. Give me 1 second. So we created this little video. And again, I hope it looks smooth enough to you. You can see that it's a nice, smooth video. But it might be a little bit jerky for what you're seeing, I'm afraid. But this has been used on their website for their marketing of this development. And it was also used, obviously, in pre-planning and actually to gain investment as well. But hopefully you can see that okay.
Yeah, it looks good. And actually, again, what we need to underline here, we created all of this stuff like a year before this development came into life. So all of this are renders. Well, that was me. Back to you, Carl. To you, Carl.
No worries. Thank you, Eric. Yeah. So, yeah, that's exactly it. These were all created long before anything was even out of the ground. So, and again, when I send all these out, there'll all be links to these videos, etc. So you'll see them in their full thing. And then actually, this is a static design in Liverpool, which is in the north west of the UK. I'm sure you've all heard of the Beatles and things, where they came from. And I've just put them both together so you can see actually how much difference we can make from what the drone footage comes in to what we build. You can see that little space, and you can see with that sort of grass with a cross on it is next to that is a car park. At the moment, that's the actual drone footage. Obviously, we've put that building there. And I think you'll agree, actually, when I just move on to the next video and you just see that drone footage, well, actually the CGI overlay, and the reason it's static, obviously, it's not moving, it's just there. You can see exactly what that building is going to look like. And I'd actually dare most people to say that isn't there in real life from just seeing this video. It's not actually just the footage of that. In real life, it's amazing, really good. So hopefully that makes some sense and sort of gives you an overview of what we're doing with drone footage. So what do we need? So obviously the reason I got Tim on was to explain, we can't just have a basic drone footage. It has to be good quality. So we only need about 20 to 30 seconds of original content. We only need sort of the money shot section, but again, whilst he's up there, you might also take some more for you and use it for your marketing, down the line. We need smooth, seamless, and a single shot video again, so that's where you need a professional, really, not just sending up your own, $100 drone. And no obstructions in the view. That's one of the clearest things, really. The way we track that footage, if anything gets across the shot, it makes it a lot more difficult for us to carry on that shot. And here's a short video, a bit of fun. This is just Alan the amateur and his video from his drone. Don't send us this. This doesn't work. But he's getting there, isn't he, Tim? We decided this guy's learning. He will maybe one day get a bit better. But we can't use this. Color changes from the poor camera. Flyovers. There's a bit of a breeze, but he's coming back down. Is he going to land safely? Oh, nearly. You'll get.
Tim, I can see you speaking, but your microphone is off.
Oh, Tim. Sorry, I can't see you either. There, let's see. He got it down though eventually, and he got it safely. That's the main thing. And then this is what we require to put your building into place, or what we'd need. So this is where, so those of you who are drone pilots, we hopefully, you can sell. If you're already working with property people, you can actually sort of present this to your clients as sort of some future options as well and expand your market and base. So full architect's plan, this is kind of normally what we get, a set of CAD drawings. And I'll show you on the next slide actually what we did with those ones very briefly. We need a design concept brief, of course, to show, what it's going to look like. Obviously, those CAD drawings don't show kind of colors and finished materials. And some examples of similar concepts. So again, I'll show you in a second as well another video we did, which is basically done from concept design, or it actually just initial sketch. So you'll see both of those. Short video, actually it's not in first one actually. So these are actually the rendered images. These are just pure CGIs of what we did from those CAD drawings, just to sort of show you the sort of quality of what can be done. It's sort of photorealistic. And there's a video to go along with that as well, so I can show you that. But effectively, this is what we can do from just basic sketches. These are what we started off with for a hotel project in Curacao in the Caribbean, off the coast of Venezuela. Started that conversation, went through exactly what was involved in the building. Again, it's all going very quickly, and hopefully you can see it enough. These are sort of other concepts that they wanted to copy, show what was in there, different zones, and the kind of image and style they wanted to go for. The pool, the restaurants, the beachfront, etc., etc. And it's all flicking through very fast, and you can actually watch this at your own pace. And again, that is a sort of a single one-shot image of what we designed. And obviously we produced this then for the architects to work on after the event. So the important thing to point out was that was done before an architect was involved as a concept design for planning and for their investment, basically. make sure it kind of fitted on the land, make sure it was worth it, make sure the aspect was good, and everyone's there. So again, something in that order to produce that, and I'll show you the finished version in a second. Somewhere in the region of sort of $30,000 to produce that, when an architect would have cost you $50,000, maybe $100,000 just to start that. And of course, you don't know you're going to get planning at that point. You don't know you're going to get the investment. So, and obviously, the architect will then be using some of the stuff that we put together. We're not architects. We're not structural engineers. We're concept people. So we can do that ahead. Equally, we can work with what the architect gives us after the event as well. But, it can be a really good opportunity ahead of time. So again, for you drone pilots, we can overlay those sort of things into the exact area. Now, this is the CGI, what we created after the event. This is a video. It's about 4 minutes. So I'm going to flick through it a little bit quicker. But again, you'll get to see the whole thing. But just so you can see what, we kind of did from those basic sketches and putting that in. Obviously, a lot of this is interior work, etc. But again, I'll just flick through it just so you get a flavour of it, of what's there. Balconies, the views, interior shots, 2-bedroom apartments. This is just sort of obviously an interior from an apartment. All concept-based, but again, exactly what they would be using for future marketing, to get everything put through. And again, nothing has been built at this point. I don't think it's been started, has it, Eric? It's still not started?
No,
that's
not
a question,
yet,
but I don't know.
It's
We'll find out anyway. But I don't think it's legally started yet. So.
No, not yet, Carl. It's at the investment stage at this point.
Exactly. So again, paying an architect to sort of do all of these things at this point may not necessarily be the point. And again, just sort of show you the end. So that's how it would look in a CGI generated landscape. But equally, that can be done over existing drone footage if you have that.
But again, the main point here is the business case. If you were to use the architect, you would spend the real money. With us, again, we can come with the concept and take it from there. And this applies, again, to your drone videos, because we can deliver this sort of solution over your drone video anywhere in the world. So, just a comment from my side. Back to you.
No. Thank you, Eric. You put it more succinctly than I do. And again, this is a sort of sell to your business. So again, producing a similar kind of CGI area, but this covers the all local area. And again, I'll show this video, but again, it's quite a long video, so I won't show it all. But again, it'll be in in what you receive. But effectively, let me turn the volume up again. So again, this is currently done and created in full CGI, but using mapping. So it's actually using full GPS mapping on what's in the local area. So again, I'll sort of fast forward it to give you an overview. This is a property actually in the US, but what you can do with it and just find the relevant little bits, moving through it. We can do obviously all interiors, the same as before, but this is the key part. All of the surroundings, this can show customers, again, before it's even built. So you're looking to sell off plan for property developers, etc. For prospective buyers can see what's around. There's obviously McDonald's, of course, it's America. There's a town centre shopping mall, where the schools are, the markets, Best Buy, obviously we all need a Best Buy, different markets. So we can show all those bits, and that's all absolutely interactive. So you can click on this. Obviously we're showing a video. It's all absolutely interactive when we produce it. So again, if you're building a new development, we can interlay this and sort of upsell it. And then again, actually with the part of the interactive stuff is each of the properties within that building, we can set out, as you see below, bedroom count, bathroom count, which direction, which budget, and it will highlight different units within that building based on your inputs there below. So I'll leave that one there, but that is actually, that is our sort of top, really our top interactive solution using that. And again, with CGI footage, this is all CGI, but hopefully one day drones might be part of that. We'll see, but we can certainly overlay before and afters onto CGI, onto drone footage. Again, I'll finish that one there, but you get the idea, I hope. And any questions, of course, come back to us, from there. Which leads me on basically to the Q&A. yeah, just really want to open up the Q&A if there's any questions. And I introduce you to our thing now. Actually, I was supposed to put down the next one there. I still didn't get around to it, despite Eric telling me about 10 times. So I do apologise. So we've got, we also do property deals. So basically we work with certain developers we work with on the CGI to offer some guaranteed rental yields and good payment plans for investors. So again, we're doing a webinar on that on the 2nd of March. And then actually we're doing our general Proptech, which will go more into that investor selector tool, the selector tool, more into other CGI solutions. And that's actually on the 16th of March. And I will update that and send that when we send it across to you so you'll know when the next one is. But they're all on the Eventbrite that you came in here as well. Well, they should be certainly by now. Yeah, if I can open up, I'm actually going to go off screen so I can see people. And I just want to bring your attention obviously to our social medias, YouTube in particular, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. They're all there and there'll all be live links when we send out the copy of it. And once again, this is the main team. Myself in the top right, Eric MD, Asia covered by Daria, Africa covered by Jonathan, obviously covered North America. And South America, I think Eric speaks Spanish, so anyone in South America, hopefully that's the way forward. Perfect. I'm going to come off and hopefully we get some questions.
Well, so again, good afternoon, everyone. It's Eric Tomaszewski here, the founder and managing director of Itoma. You can unmute yourself in case there is any feedback to us, any sort of questions you might have. Again, the point that we want to underline here, the world of drone and drone technology is very wide and vast. And again, we are trying to present to you what are the opportunities to eventually expand from perhaps land and on-plan secondary existing properties, let's say also to off-plan, where you can offer your services also to property developers saying, look, I'm going to take the drone footage of your land, and on top of that, I'm going to actually put, let's say, this visualization to present to your customers for early traction, sales, marketing, to eventually go to the investors, let's say to the loan institutions for any sort of development finance and so on. And these are the practical uses of this technology that, well, thank you very much, Carl and team, you have been presenting to us today. So again, you can eventually unmute yourself in case you've got any sort of questions, any sort of feedback, you know, to tell us what do you think about that and see if we can help you. Because again, we deliver this stuff globally. You could see some examples, let's say from UK, you could see some example from Caribbean and other geographies. So we simply need your drone footage, let's say, specifically for your customers, and then we can actually deliver it anywhere in the world. Like with many other technologies that we've got under our belt, which we will be covering, like Carl said, on 16th of March again. So that's the next webinar we're organizing on property technology.
So really interesting. I was chatting to David. David, if you're still listening, obviously, and again, from this morning, you do Matterports and that kind of video, which is, I mean, it's amazing technology. But the key difference is that can only be done for a building that's built, and you can only take the images of what's actually there. So again, you know, we move on into virtual furnishing, virtual staging, all that kind of stuff. But obviously, the Matterport is taking that image of what's actually there. But working with developers, you know, one of the key things for us is obviously it isn't built yet. So we can create the sort of, you know, live video, photorealistic images and put it into your footage, you know, so obviously your drone footage, for instance. And then obviously we can carry on to do the interiors. But, you know, that's something you can offer your existing clients basically going forward, or actually expand your client base, you know, if you know product developers, you know, ahead of time, really. So that's kind of thing I was thinking of. I know, Graham, obviously you get involved in a lot of drone footage up there as well. But again, I don't know what your property developer base is actually of clients, but I know it's, you know, you work with some, but effectively it's expanding that from just taking the footage, which is fantastic.
Yeah. There's actually not many CGI suppliers in my part of the country. Let's call it the east of England. It's not easy to come by, actually, and quite expensive for my clients in general.
Yeah, Absolutely. I mean, again, it depends. You can't do it when you're just building an extension on the side of your house kind of thing. But if you're doing a development, it actually makes sense. Part of your marketing budget will. Basically, actually, that webinar on the 16th, which is the general Proptech one, we kind of go through a few ROI calculators to work out, obviously, what the costs are, sort of what we can produce in compared to what the overall development's going to cost and what that ROI is, just by actually helping you sell a couple more off plan. If you sell off plan, your costs are massively reduced, and that's what we do basically by getting in there before it's built.
Yep.
So, I don't know if you've got any other questions or whatever else in the short term, but feel free. But otherwise, hopefully that was a bit helpful, and it's something you can offer clients, and we can talk about obviously more, something to keep in the bank really for those jobs that need it. But again, keep doing your arty stuff because that's beautiful.
Otherwise, we're going to send you some output with the slides and let's say the link to everything that you've seen during this session. And hopefully that's going to be useful because, again, we try to popularize this technology in the industry. That's our goal here.
Perfect. Who's in America? Who's our American guy?
DJ Technician.
I'm here.
There you go. And so what's your role? Do you get involved in drones, or what's your kind of?
Well, here I own my own drone photo and photography business. So I do commercial and real estate. So I do a little of both. It just depends on on the client. So what I'm looking at is basically exactly what I need, because a lot of my work is project progress. So I go from the start to the finish. I mean, in the middle, as they're working, and then the finished product.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It depends on how long it takes for them to complete the project, but sometimes that can go on for weeks to months.
Yeah.
So I mean, from when I'm looking at it, it looks like it's something that your product can probably deliver, something that I can show a client so they can see things already ahead of time,
100%. Yeah. For future marketing, for, again, the planning permissions are different in different places, but even just to show, what you're going to get in its location. So obviously, you'll take your drone up, a development could be what we call a brownfield site. So basically, it's got some light industrial use on it, or a field, for instance, like you saw on the video. You can take the footage of that with obviously a brief from the client. We can actually build that development smack in the middle of that field, or smack in that, we can disrupt that industrial site, rebuild the new development effectively. They can use that obviously for gaining investors, for gaining planning approvals. We're not architects, of course. We're not quantity surveyors, etc. So we don't really kind of get involved in that exactly, but we would work sort of with them once, for architects. If they've got architects already in place, we'll use their drawings. And if we're doing it concept based, we've got an idea of what's required. We'll do it. Then the architects obviously will rebuild on top of that when the go-ahead gets given. And then, we'll show, we'll make our amendments basically to fit the architect's plan effectively. And then that can be used fully for marketing, off-plan sales. So, pre-build sales, and that reduces the costs, reduces interest, on the borrowings, etc. And, you can then carry on if you're doing the actual shots, the actual build and stuff. You keep going with that as well. Works alongside. Right. So again, let's set something up. Let's have more of a proper talk and maybe look at a project you've got going on that it might be worth it, and we'll see if we can slot into it and help you out with something.
Okay, it sounds good.
My pleasure. All right, so I'll be the guy because I look after North America as well from here. So obviously, sadly, not traveling much at the minute. You guys are out. You guys can travel, but we're not.
You're not accepting us. No one is accepting us.
Oh, no. Well, no one's accepting us. In fact, we can't even get on a plane barely, can we, from here at the minute? Unless you're dead already, I don't think they'll let you go. But we've got a new roadmap, haven't we? The government have put a roadmap in place for us to be, is it June the 21st, I think? June the something other. They reckon we'll be done. But we're actually really getting ahead with our vaccinations. Tim's really, really old. I mean, he looks like a young man, just probably really, really old. They've he got in the early slots and got jabbed a couple of weeks last week. Yeah. So he'll survive to live another year or two.
Well, actually, they only give vaccinations to cool, handsome, fit people.
Well, I haven't got one.
Well, you guys are at the back of the queue.
Yeah, they said the beard's too much. There's a lockdown beard. So yeah, but it's interesting. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, as soon as travel's allowed, we'll start getting around places and doing some more stuff. But again, the beauty of this actually really is you don't need to be anywhere, and actually for your clients, I was going to say, if they're doing something a bit more prestigious, they can sell globally. We work a lot in Dubai. Eric works closely in the Middle East in Dubai. And that property webinar we're doing on the 2nd of March, I think it was.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's about, properties where we've done some CGI stuff for them in the past. And now we're looking at promoting their stuff because a lot of it, global investors invest in Dubai and the Middle East. So, yeah, we do that. But again, the same can be done in the US. They can market to, anywhere in the world.
Perfect. Right. It's been an hour. If anyone else wants to, let's say, introduce or ask any question, obviously welcome. Otherwise, I think it's time for us to say thank you very much for participating. And thank you guys for presenting, Carl and team. Of course, good presentation. And we're going to take it from there. Okay?
Thanks a lot. Nice to see you. Cheers, Graham. Thanks, David.
Cheers. Thanks,
Thanks a
Carl.
lot, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care, mate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
See you.
Good luck with the cricket. They're here.
Yeah.
There is no good luck because we already won.
Oh, is it finished?
Oh, there.
Yes, the match is completed.
There's the
What's the
ball.
final score?
We won by 10 wickets.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Carl,
I'll see you guys.
See you guys. Thanks, team.
Bye.
Yeah, go on.
Carl, that was fabulous.
Fabulous. That's my middle name. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it was good actually.